Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, the big focus today is talking about how digital payments and mobile technology is helping us become more financially inclusive. And many times, for the first time ever, we are now seeing millions of people around the world have the opportunity to take part in the economy like never before. Bobby, let me start with you. Actually, Vikrant, you come over here. Let's switch chairs quickly. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Bobby, I'm going to start with you, of course, at Visa. Visa is one of the world's largest payment providers as well. Now, you personally work with governments and key stakeholders globally to try and create more financial inclusion. So tell me, what does financial inclusion mean in the context of emerging markets? What is it? What are the key indicators of inclusion, and where are the real opportunities and challenges?
Sure. Thank you for the question. It's great to be here. Visa is really excited about the region because of the opportunities it has, the demographics, the mobile capabilities, and the fact that this is still a heavy cash usage region. And so we think about financial inclusion in a couple of different ways, right? One is enabling access. Two is increasing engagement on mobile platforms. Three is really breaking down regulatory barriers and then making sure it's a secure experience. And just briefly in those areas, ubiquity of mobile connectivity is so important to drive digital. Making sure that once they are on a digital platform, it's engaging for them. They can help drive their needs as a consumer, and then addressing the regulatory barriers, which can be really friction creating, harder for consumers to get on platforms. And then, of course, it has to be really secure because this is people's financial accounts. So we think about those as key indicators for driving financial inclusion.
And of course, trust has to be a big part of that as well. Now, Sitoyo, let me bring you in here, because as M-Pesa, you have become one of the biggest, most exciting, really financial success stories for digital tech startups. I think you have around 55 million customers based out of Kenya. Originally, tell me, what has been key to the success of M-Pesa? Why do you think we haven't seen it scaled at such a level in other markets? Are there still big challenges when it comes to regulations? Take us through that.
First, thanks. I think when it comes to what are the success factors around what we've done, it starts with us trying to solve real life problems. So it's purpose-led. So it's like at the beginning in 2007 was solving rural-urban migration. It went into solving a payment challenge. It went into solving global payments, so remittances, how do you pay for Netflix, Spotify, and so on and so forth. It went from solving challenges that individuals face, and then challenges that businesses face. And this is from large corporates like Coca-Cola, Visa, MasterCard, Diageo, and so on, to SMEs, to micro SMEs. And today we serve across our footprint, so in 7 markets. Within that footprint, it's close to 90 million customers and over 5 million businesses. And the key thing is, one is big focus on customer education. Second is security, I think what Visa said, making it a safe space for people to transact. Driving financial inclusion is very important, and we've been able to move it from 23 to over 85% today, and now focusing on financial health is the area in which we're looking at.
Incredible. Vikrant, let me bring in you here, because you come from the slightly more traditional side of banking, but of course UBA, huge presence in Africa. I think you're in 20 different countries, around 40 million odd customer base as well. Tell me, where are you seeing the most disruptive forces when we look at digital banking? Are you seeing a lot of success from AI-powered chatbots, the last mile kind of financial delivery solution? Where are you seeing the biggest impact to help people, not just in the major cities, but really that underserved populations that we're now beginning to access?
Sure, thank you for that question. So we're seeing a lot of impact with financial inclusion improving with the digital platforms. So your question about AI, etc., we have an app, it's called Leo. It's an AI-powered chatbot. It integrates with social media, so WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, etc., and that is encouraging the youth who are using these social media platforms very actively to get onto the financial journey. In terms of how the bank looks at it, I think Africa is kind of ahead of most of the other world in terms of digital payments, etc. And One of the unique reasons for that is that it's a marriage between the bank, which is the regulated entity, the fintechs, which keep coming up with newer solutions, then our partners, the agent network. Because reaching the last mile in Africa is always a challenge. So there is a telecom provider, you tie up with that, M-Pesa, obviously a phenomenal job there. But at the same time, how do you have somebody far off in the village, in the far off areas, as an agent, work with the end consumer? How do you educate them? And that's where a lot of the engagement with society at the grassroots level comes in. So when you put all of this together, it works. And the impact is phenomenal. And we have we've seen a lot of case studies where we're actively engaged in this, where it has changed the economics of that area, the society. And then you can have more targeted offerings. So overall, it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's picking up a bit on what, Bobby, you were saying about trust and education is obviously key in part of it. Now, you work with key governments all over the world as part of Visa. Tell me, what are some examples of some successful public-private partnerships, where they've really worked, where they've made an impact, and what are the lessons we can take from this?
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, we're really fortunate to have worked with a number of governments to drive financial inclusion and partnership. And I'll just offer a couple. One, in Ukraine, the government created DIA, a government tech digital payment platform, which has been amazing at driving access. So that's a great one in terms of really leveraging private sector technology with the public sector reach. In Kazakhstan is one of the most digitally enabled countries, certainly in Asia, and they've done a great job in terms of reaching their customers, giving them really easy solutions to do. But it also comes back to the education, right? So it's all these things come together in terms of creating the solution, giving the consumers the ability and tools to use them, and then replicating that in others. So this is one where governments really love to learn best practices from another government.
Sitoa, let me bring you back in here, because in many respects, we've seen so many opportunities unlocked by giving millions of people around the world access. But is there a risk that perhaps we're overplaying this? Are we looking at more digital debt, more microloans? How do we make sure that we balance that, long-term wealth creation and not just making credit or borrowing easier?
I think the approach, it depends on the approach in which one takes. We take what we call a savings-led credit proposition. Mm-hmm. So we do not provide credit if there's no savings solution. And the more you save, the more your credit limit will increase. The more you do other services within the platform, that will definitely increase. But also now we look at different sectors. So let me give an example. A micro SME. This is an individual, let's say somebody who polishes shoes. How do we give credit for him, for his business, not for him as an individual? So we've created a product that enables him separate his personal money from his business money on his own personal account. And from that, we're now able to help him support his business differently from another individual. Mm-hmm. So it depends just on which level you're going into with that. For SMEs, for larger SMEs, it's supply chain financing. So it has to be geared towards the purpose of what is happening, other than just lending for the purpose of lending. Mm-hmm. We lend in our ecosystem over $55 million a day with an NPL below 2%. And we're very clear on who we are lending to make sure it does not increase indebtedness, but what it starts driving is financial health and ensuring that we make an impact into society.
And I think you make a really important point there about financial health. Vikram, let me get your thoughts. What I found was very interesting is, the other opportunities in digital finance, in mobile payments, and this real transformation. Now, you say it also has the potential to unlock new trading opportunities, because as we know, Africa tends to trade more with the rest of the world than actually within itself. How are you seeing this, really bring a big shift?
Absolutely, and I think that's the huge opportunity. So today, intra-Africa trade is about less than 20%. So most of it is with the external world, and that is the opportunity. And to unlock that, various initiatives are being taken, including by us. UBA Connect, as I was saying, you can make payments across 20 countries, so that solves one of the problems. Yes, there are many other problems, trade barriers, restriction, logistics, etc., but finance is one of the key things. Now, if you think about at a Pan-Africa level, there's a Pan-Africa payment system that's being set up. There is the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement that's been set up. That's going to affect about 1.5 billion people, expected to have an impact of $3 trillion, right? So huge. Now, all of that is happening UBA is playing a pivotal role in that, but of course, as emerging markets, as the continent, there is a lot of work that still needs to be done. But if you think about it, logistics, the roads may be good, may not be so good in some areas. There could be some trade barriers, etc. But what's very important is to make sure that finance is available, money can move efficiently. And that's what we're focused on.
And certainly some big changes happening there at the moment. We're almost out of time. Let me get your final thoughts. Same question for everybody. Bobby, I'm going to start with you. Tell me, what is your boldest prediction for digital finance over the coming decade? Where are we going to see the biggest shift? Are we going to have completely cashless economy? What are going to be the big changes and what's going to be key to making it happen?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I think we're going to see an explosion in financial inclusion because of all the reasons we discussed today. Secondly, I think you're going to see connected commerce that is truly personalized, right, through AI, through your own personal agents. So how we personalize commerce is going to be revolutionized in the coming years. And I think that's good for all of us as individuals. It's also good for driving inclusion, particularly for the smallest micro businesses who can then just use their phone as a payment mechanism to initiate or to receive payment. So we see the future as being very bright and driving the future of commerce.
Okay, so Toa, let me ask you, same question.
I think for me, it'll be partnerships and interoperability within the global payments networks. I want to be able to travel to Brazil, to South America, to the GCC countries, and use my M-Pesa across the money network, and vice versa. And this also encompasses trade and B2B payments.
It's that seamless, safe opportunity, I think, making all of our lives easier. Let me say, Vikrant, final thoughts with you. Same question.
Sure. So I think, if you look at the financial inclusion in Africa, it varies from, let's say, 85% in South Africa to maybe less than 15% in some other countries. So we foresee a future where the financial inclusion is going to be almost 100% or 100%. Africa is going to leapfrog. Necessity is the mother of invention. We have invented so many solutions. We are ahead of the curve. And I think we're going to have a society that's going to be far more prosperous because finance is what keeps the wheels of the economy going. And that's what we're supporting.
Absolutely. With clearly some big opportunities. And I think, traditionally we've seen places like New York or London, being these big hotspots. But I think, as we can all agree from our incredible speakers today, clearly emerging markets are certainly here to challenge and some big opportunities. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's a busy day here at the World Government Summit. Very big thank you to all of you for joining us as well. Thank you.